discuss this particular essay.
Surely.
In today's essay, we are basically trying to discuss advantage, disadvantage essay with opinion. So if you look at the question, it says, what do you understand by the question, Sushindran?
Like the regular payments through mobile phone apps, it is getting popular. So does it have more merits or demerits?
Right. So this is a question which is saying, I mean, we are all aware about Google Pay, Phone Pay and all this, right? GPay, Phone Pay and
Correct.
all this. So these days what's happening is that, we are not dealing with cash anymore. We are kind of, not withdrawing money in cash or something. What we are doing is we are basically, um, using all these e-payment gateways, right? Like with banking, card payment and all this we are using in order to pay our bills. So this development, it has more advantages or more disadvantages. So what kind of an essay is this? The moment you're coming across the question for the essay, the first thing that you have to do is you have to have a very good understanding of the topic. And at the same time, you also have to understand what kind of an essay is this. So what kind of an essay is this?
Advantage, disadvantage with an opinion.
Very good. Advantage, disadvantage, essay with opinion. And why is this an advantage, disadvantage essay with opinion? I mean, how do you know that they have asked you for your opinion?
Does this have more advantage or more disadvantage?
More advantages or more disadvantages, which means that you have to mention the advantages, you have to mention the disadvantages, and at the same time, you also have to compare. You have to give more number of points on the side that you are taking, any one side, whichever you're taking. So again, needless to say, you already know that in these 40 minutes, the first 5 to 7 minutes has to be on planning and micro planning. The next 25 to 30 minutes has to be writing the main essay.
Sure.
And the last 3 to 4 minutes has to be on proofreading, or you can say revising. Now, please understand this, that each of these steps are very important. Planning and micro planning is as important as writing the main essay. And proofreading and revising is also very important. Most of the times, we just write the main essay and we move on, we submit. No, that's not at all right. You have to do the revision, because once you're doing the revision, once you're doing the proofreading, that is when, you come across all the silly mistakes. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Structure is already known to you. And what is your opinion? What is your opinion?
Based on a number of points, I have taken the merit side, Sri.
So you're trying to say that, yeah. So you're trying to say that there are, more number of merits. It has more advantages.
That's correct.
So where is your opinion statement? In the introduction, whatever be the type of your essay, see, your IELTS writing task 2 marking criteria, there is something known as task achievement and task response. Now, under this task achievement and task response, mentioning a very clear opinion statement, task response, clear opinion statement is very important. Where is your opinion statement? Where have
also, this could be beneficial to both the consumer and the merchant on the why.
There is
enough compelling evidence.
Argue that this growing trend. What is the growing trend? The growing trend is that, you are using e-payment gateways, or you're using internet banking, Google Pay, Phone Pay merchants in order to make your payment. So it's a growing trend. Is
yes,
overwhelmingly beneficial. Clear?
Yes.
So this is your strong opinion statement. You are having a strong opinion. You are saying that, yes, there are advantages, there are disadvantages, but there are more number of merits in comparison to demerits.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Now moving on to body para 2, because body para 2 is ideally our side. So in an advantage, disadvantage essay with opinion, whatever is your side, you're giving more number of points on that side, and that should be given in body para 2. So having said
Correct.
we are starting with our body para 2. And why are we even starting with having said that?
Because the previous paragraph, it was like the opposite side.
Very correct. So we are
Contrasting.
using having said that. We are using having said that because having said that is a contrasting linker or a contradicting linker. And when we are making this transition from BP1 to BP2, BP1 is talking about the other side and BP2 is talking about our side. So when we are making this transition between two opposite content, we are using having said that. Clear?
True. Yes.
It could be argued that there are plenty of places where this technology has proved useful and efficient. Okay, it provides the users a seamless and convenient experience of not having to carry their wallet and also getting the payments done in a snappier manner. Now, see, this, do we need this sentence? Is
It
this sentence giving any sort of content? No, right? This is just, kind of introducing the fact that, these e-payment gateways have benefits. We don't need it. We don't need any introductory sentence for the paragraph. It is understood that you're talking about the advantages, right? So this is not needed. Then
okay.
when you
Doesn't it state my opinion?
it doesn't. See, when
Okay.
you say smoother and an efficient way, we want to know what exactly do you mean by smoother and efficient way. So rather than writing smooth and efficient way, write down what exactly are you trying to, point out with smooth and efficient way. The way you have done that, it is less, it is convenient, it is effortless. You don't have to carry your wallet. You can get the payments done in a snappier way or in a very, less time consuming way. Right?
I understand.
Yes. So it could be argued. So my point is you cannot afford to waste words. You cannot afford to waste sentences unnecessarily. Whatever sentence or whatever
Okay.
word you are writing, that has to be with a purpose and that has to have some meaning or some content in it. Okay?
Sure.
Such e-payment gateways right. So users yes. So users have a seamless and convenient experience of it's not that I mean, why do you think that the experience is seamless and convenient? Not because they are not they are not having to carry a wallet, but because the payment gets done in a snappier way, in a less time consuming way, in a hassle-free way.
Okay.
And they can also do it from the convenience of their home. Right?
Yes.
So experience of getting the payments done. So users have a seamless and convenient experience of getting the payments done in a snappier way, snappier manner, which not only is less time consuming, but also it is less time consuming. And what else?
Does not make the user to carry additional wallet.
Hassle free, but also hassle free.
Okay. Good.
And therefore, now see, not having to carry wallets. So neither they have to carry cash or neither they have to carry a wallet, nor they have to stand in long serpentine queues to get the bills cleared, right? Therefore, they neither have to carry hefty amount of cash nor wait in long serpentine queues to get their bills. Yeah. Now look at this whole point. The same thing, but don't you feel that the explanation is a little bit more, uh, you can say, refined, better explanation?
Mm. Yes,
Because
not only but also therefore, and
so
then neither
these
nor.
sentence constructions are something which are very important and which is always missing in your writing.
I tried to include it,
Where have you
even the intro
included?
part.
When you say I have tried to include it, see, when I share a
Mm.
corrected sample with you, you have to follow the logic and you have to analyze the way I'm forming the sentences there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you try to use not only but also in the introduction, there is no point. Because not only but also is a kind of, transition word which does not have too much of scope or room to be used in the introduction. That is something which either has to be used in your BP1 or BP2, where you have a lot of content to write. Could I make it clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are some of the things that, you have to follow, which are missing from your writing and which will actually, um, stop you from getting good scores. Okay, then you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, at a coffee shop, the last person at the queue need not wait longer because of having the cashier to tender exact changes to the previous people.
In the queue.
The last person at the queue need not wait longer. I mean, okay. But
Mm-hmm.
the example and the evidence that you have given, I somehow feel that the evidence is incomplete. It is not giving the complete essence or it is not giving the complete meaning. You're trying to say that the last person in the queue, but the person is standing in the queue, right?
Yes.
I mean, the person in any case is not avoiding the queue, but when it comes to e-payment gateways, you don't at all have to stand in the queue. You don't at all have to, stress yourself with changes. You're making all the payments from the place where you are, right?
Actually, it's paying
Or
things
maybe,
through
or maybe
mobile phone apps. Mm-hmm.
so, or maybe even when you're standing in the shop or when you're there at the market or the shop, when you're making the payments, it's not about standing in the queue. The concern is about giving changes. So if you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, see, if you are making a payment with Google Pay or Phone Pay at a
Mm-hmm.
shop or at a market, there also you have to stand in the queue, right?
Yes.
Even if you're paying in Google Pay or even if you're paying in Phone Pay, regardless of whether you're paying cash or you're paying through e-payment gateways, in any case, you have to stand in the queue. You cannot avoid that. You cannot avoid standing in the queue. But what happens is that you can avoid the stress of changes, hard cash,
Okay.
right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think that, for instance, the consumer can easily avoid the stress of finding, or you can say, looking for or coins as the payment is done completely cashless. Got it?
Okay. Can avoid the stress by. Okay.
So here in the example, the point is not standing in the queue. The
Mm-hmm.
point is that you don't have to think about giving changes. Why? Because you are not carrying cash. You are not making any cash transactions. It is completely cashless. Is that clear?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, Sri.
Yeah. Right. So, for instance, a consumer can easily avoid the stress of finding or looking for small changes or small notes or coins as a payment is done completely cashless. See, do not make the meaning complex. Do not make the point complex and complicated. You have to give complex
Mm.
sentence structures. You have to give compound sentence structures, but you cannot afford to make the meaning complicated. So understand the
Mm-hmm.
point that you're giving, and then the example or the evidence that you're giving that has to bolster or strengthen that. So always remember that the evidence that you're giving that has to strengthen, that cannot be repetitive. the content of the evidence should not be repetitive and it should strengthen the point that you're giving. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Then alongside this, people could develop a sense of financial intelligence since all their payments are recorded in their app portal, and this very data can be helpful for them to make future decisions. Perfect. So the other point that you're talking about, that they have the transaction histories are recorded, and that you become assured that the payment has reached the recipient instantly. So all these things are
Yes.
this point. So these are the 2 points. One, hassle-free and convenient mode of making payments where you don't have to stand in queues and you don't have to worry about change, small notes or points or changes. And the other one is that you have everything recorded, so that can be used.
Here, yes. And for the first point, I have provided an example.
That's fine. So if you're writing 2 points,
Mm.
then it is always good that you're providing an evidence for any 1 point.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
All right, moving on to the next body para. I mean, BP1, which is basically talking about the other side. So your side is advantages and the other side is basically disadvantages or demerits, right?
Correct.
Okay. We are not giving for a start. So what is the word that we use when we are talking
Unfortunately,
about? Yes, then why have you written for a start? See, you're talking about the disadvantages, which is not your side. And so it is better if you start with unfortunately.
definitely. Okay,
Yeah.
noted. Yeah, sure.
So use it. I mean, it is not that, you're always using unfortunately only for demerits. You can use unfortunately whenever you're writing about a downside or whenever you're writing about a demerit, a concern or a challenge or something bad. Is that clear?
Yes.
So it could be argued should come on your side, not on the other side. This should come on your side, not on the other side. Okay. So you're saying they are
Okay.
not reliable. Now, see, I understand you're talking about the different frauds, probably money laundering and all these things, right?
I'm talking more about the technical issues like
Okay, you're talking
the
about the
icon
technical issue,
rotates and
right? Now, see,
yes.
I'll tell you something. This word
Hmm.
reliable that you have used, it is correct. It is true. This
Hmm.
definitely can be taken as a demerit, it can be taken as a disadvantage, and it can be taken as a downside. But the only concern over here is that this is not your side, right? So if this is not your side, then the words that you're using, the points that you're giving, they should not outweigh your, they should not become heavy on your side. The point is perfect, but the way you are writing, the words you're choosing, the language that you're giving, that has to be on a lighter note. Is that clear? So that you can
Got it.
refute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sri, are you speaking?
No, I'm not.
Ah, okay, got it.
Consumers
So
which,
the other side, we have to use some lighter words in order to
yeah, I mean,
easily
whatever
refute the
point,
other side.
yes, whatever
Mm.
point, you are giving, whatever point you're giving, I'm perfectly fine with the point. The point
Mm.
might be fine, but the way you are writing, the language you are using, the words you're using, they have to be on a lighter side. Okay.
Definitely. Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, some consumers report, and try to be a little bit more precise and accurate with the content that you're giving, with the words, with the sentences. Okay, like some consumers
Mm.
report incomplete payments.
Mm-hmm.
Incomplete payments, or you can say incomplete transfers. You can even say incomplete transactions, right?
Yes.
Due to technical issues, that's all.
Okay.
We don't have to write so much, making the delivery time this, that, this. Again, remember, the other side does not need so much of effort. The other side is not your side. So the other side
Mm-hmm.
definitely does not need so much of explanation, so much of, elaboration and everything. More time and more energy and more thinking and everything has to be put on your side. the sentence construction and everything. Okay. So if you just
Sure.
mention that some consumers report or, complain of, raise concern, face issues with incomplete payments or transfers or transactions due to technical issues, right? And then you can give
Hmm.
an example. This could be exemplified by a normal incident of a network outage, which subsequently leads to downtime of the payment networks, and this causes the payments to not go through. That's all. Now we are
Hmm.
refuting this side. Why are we refuting this side? After mentioning the disadvantage, why are we at all refuting the disadvantage?
Because it's basically the other side.
Yes, this is the other side. And since you have already taken your side and you're supposed to give more number of points on your side. So when it comes to giving the other side, you are trying to give a point which you can refute easily so that you can show the upper hand of your side. You can show that,
Yes.
see, I have taken the side of the advantages. There is a disadvantage, but this disadvantage can be managed, or this disadvantage can be dealt with. And that is why I have taken the side of advantages. Yeah.
Correct. Like a rounding off statement.
Yes. So you can use all this.
Nevertheless, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the odds of having these kind of scenario are quite slim, and more importantly, even when they do occur, there are rapid response teams deployed that could ensure that the damage is controlled to a minimum. Perfectly fine. That's it, right? So
Yes.
try not to use these kinds, subject, verb, agreement, these
Kinds of scenarios.
kind of scenarios,
Scenario.
kinds of scenarios. Okay.
Hmm.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. Be very careful. So here you made a subject verb agreement error, and these are the grammatical errors that you have to take care of. These are very
Sure.
basic grammatical errors, subject verb. A singular subject will always have a singular verb. A plural subject will always have a plural verb. Is that clear?
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Sri. Thanks.
All right. So this is about your body para 1, which is the other side. Fine. So